How's it going, everybody? I'm Steve and welcome to my channel. So tonight the topic of this video is basically how upset I am with Disney right now. And I've been upset with Disney since they bought Fox, basically. And at that time they bought the company out and they laid off like 1,000 Fox employees at the time. What they've done to the Fox catalog, just basically not releasing those on like 4K or and any kind of new movies that they do through 20th Century Studios, they're not putting it on physical media, or they don't put a lot of special features on them. One of the latest things that here I had to buy the movie Barbarian on a bootleg, basically because I'm tired of waiting for Disney to release this on Blu-ray. So I had to do this. The quality is not bad. I think it's taken off of like a streaming service, basically. So it's not great, but I really want this in my collection, so I had to buy it through bootleg. But but the other topic is basically people were talking about what they've done to the French Connection. I guess it's on the Criterion channel, which I didn't realize that this movie's not on Criterion. I guess they just bought the license so they could show it on their streaming service. But they've taken out like 10 seconds out of the movie. There's like a racial slur that happens earlier in the movie. Gene Hackman says it, and this movie was released in 1971 originally, so. Apparently that language was more common back then. Not really excusing it, but it's something that he didn't want to say at the time. But the director William Friedkin said that he had to say it because this is a racist cop, and they wanted to show how racist he was. But I think it's based on like a book, so I don't know if that language is in the book necessarily. But it's basically, this movie is art. It won Best Picture. Gene Hackman won an Oscar for the role in the movie of Popeye Doyle was the character. So it's something that it was. I'm sure people frowned upon it back then too, but it's something that people said back then. It wasn't that uncommon. I watched another movie that is on Criterion is Shaft. This is also released in 1971. And there are racial slurs in this movie as well. Obviously, this is from Warner Brothers. It's not a Fox title. It's Warner Brothers. But this is on the Criterion collection video here, and they have racial slurs in that, and Criterion didn't take this slur out of the movie. It was Disney that did it, and apparently they said the director William Friedkin was okay with he approved the deletion of that word. So I guess I haven't heard that from him directly. I think that's kind of like a rumor that he approved it. So. I'm sure back then, 52 years later, I'm sure he feels differently than he did back then. But so I'm not condoning that word. I think that word should be put back in, and they should just have a disclaimer on it, basically warning people that there's a racial slur in the movie, and that they should be prepared for that. But this movie won Best Picture. It's obviously art. Something that should be preserved. It shouldn't be edited out. Basically, Disney bought the Fox catalog. They bought all these movies that weren't made for families, they weren't made for kids, they were made for adults. And maybe this could be a test, basically, to see what people will do. If people approve of this change, that might give Disney the authority to go in and take out like nudity out of movies and bad language. They might start, completely changing movies that you love. All the movies I have in physical media, I have these to preserve. So I wonder if people even notice those changes. They may not even realize that their favorite movies have had scenes taken out of them, and maybe some people may not even care. People that watch streaming services, they may not even care that their favorite scenes from movies that they've loved all their lives are being changed without their approval. So I think people should protest these changes and let Disney know that they don't appreciate those, and what they're doing to the Fox brand. I don't know if anybody else really cares, but like when I see a movie now when it says 20th Century Studios, and it has the Fox music, the fanfare music, but you don't see the Fox logo on that. The staircase, whatever, I notice that, and it always bothers me when I see that. Some people may not even really care. They can still hear the music, and it still feels like a Fox movie, but it just doesn't have the Fox title on there. It bothers me quite a bit. But especially when I watch classic movies that Fox produced, like Alien and some great movies like that, Star Wars, and when I see the Fox logo there at the beginning of the movie, that's what I've grown up with, and when I see 20th Century Studios, it's not the same. So please let me know in the comments how you feel about these changes. Do you think Disney has, even though they technically do have the right to change these movies, should they be censoring movies and just because they don't approve of them, or they think families don't approve of these changes? Should they be changing your favorite movies just because they have the right to do it? I don't feel they do, and I've even gone in and as far as I've gotten rid of Disney Plus for now, so just because I just don't want to support Disney at the moment, and while they're making changes like this. Please put a thumbs up on the video. Please consider subscribing. Have a great night. Thank you.